Hi, I'm Michelle Mercurio. Welcome to the show where we interview people who have ditched their plan to pursue their purpose. Let's dive in. I am so glad to have Linzy George of Streetlight People here today. Welcome, Linzy.
Thanks for having me, Michelle.
So I want to kick it off by having you tell everybody what it is that you do.
What do I do? Well, you help me figure that out. I'm overall a business strategy person, a strategist, and I help people organize, mobilize, and actualize what they want to do next. And I think you help me figure those words out because that's what you do. But I really do a little bit of everything. And when companies get stuck, I think when they need a little spark and creativity, they call me to help.
They need some Linzy magic.
They need some magic, and
Yes.
they call me. Yeah.
Yes. One of the things that I absolutely adore about you is the fact that when I reach out to you, I know that chances are if you don't do it, you know somebody who does.
Yeah.
Not that you don't have your own levels of expertise, but you are so well connected and you are so well equipped. You just kind of roll with a lot of things.
Yeah.
You have a flow about you, Linzy. The other thing that I always think about when I think about you is the nickname that we came up with for you. So resilience, but the fact that your name is Linzy with a Z, so Resiliency. So instead of resiliency, it's Resiliency.
Resiliency. Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the role of resilience in your life.
Resilience is definitely something that I didn't realize what I had in me until plans just exploded or things didn't work out the way I thought they would. And so I realized it's really from such a young age of change being a norm in my life. So I was born in India.
Right.
And my grandparents raised me. My parents came to the States, which is the story of a lot of South Indian folks that, their parents left to start the life and then left you behind. But not having parents around for the first formative years of my life kind of created that. And I realized that in this season. But for me, it's just something that I know that inside of me I can do hard things. And I've learned to flow a little bit more with my plans because of what I see in me. I didn't see it before, but surrounding yourself with people that can see that for you has been so helpful for me. So
You don't like to do what you're told. And that's awesome, right? So I think that when I say that, you just said it yourself. You were kind of given a plan and you're like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
yeah.
So talk to me about that. Talk to me about when you and I were chatting about kind of living in suburbia and raising children, raising Georges, right?
Yeah.
Raising your children. How is it that you do those things? You always seem to have so many things that you're doing, and yet you always have a really good presence about you at the same time. So how do you take that resiliency, and apply it to your day-to-day life?
So 3 kids, and so the plan, we'll start there. I think I was always told this is what you need to do to make a life, or this is what life needs to look like. And for years I followed because I am a firstborn, first of 5, and so you just follow the rules. You don't shake the boat, you just keep rowing. It'll all work out,
Right.
But something in me just didn't feel like this is what I want to do for my family. And so
What was that point?
I would say I don't know, just this isn't where I'm supposed to be.
You just knew there was something off.
Something off every day, and nothing on paper looked wrong. You have 3 beautiful kids, and you live in suburbia, and you have an HOA, and and this is all the things there's a pool, you've arrived,
Right.
But no, it didn't feel
So
right.
you blew it up.
I blew it up, and so I left a job that I was at for 13 years, and I plunged out into the unknown, but flew. And I think you would ask, what's your superpower? I would love to fly, but I think that was my wings embracing the wings that I had and trying
Right.
to do something new. And so we left. We downsized. Our relationship was tense for a while, and we had to rebuild, and we were okay with that. And that's where I pulled from some strength that I had. And I do juggle a lot, but I think I have realized what's important to juggle. So what do I choose to ignore? What do I choose to focus on? Those are
Right.
things that help me build what's important.
Right.
Yeah.
So even in ditching all of it, though, one of the things that I think about when I think about you, you have 3 amazing kids, and yet you let them be themselves. And you kind of made a face there like, it's kind of scary, but it's really important.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you parent.
Wow. I think we should have another interview and see how they turned out. But we are in the thick of it with 2 teens and a tween. And I think the most important relationships you can have in your life are people that knew you when you were younger. And so I always think to myself, I have known these children since they were born, right? Yes. I am their mother, and I can remind them of who they were before inhibitions and before the fear and before life happens. And so I keep track of that. And so for me, I take a ton of photos and videos, and I capture their lives. And now they're at a point where I was like, Mom, but no, because you're going to want to remember this moment. You know, you tried really hard, and you're going to want to remember. Each of them are so different, so I have relinquished myself of responsibility in a sense of I raised all 3 of you the same, and you're also different, so it's not it's on you. It's not me.
Right.
But just letting them be themselves and not comparing. It's so hard. I have 2 boys. They're so similar, but they're so different. And just the comparison game, and it might not be by the book. I don't live in this fear of the world is a mess and I'm scared to let them out into the world. I'm just like, build who you are, and we're here, and we're pretty certain one of them will have to learn the hard way, and we'll have to bail him out, but it'll be okay, and he'll learn, and we're accepting of that.
Well, then we know it's one of the boys because you said he.
He actually knows he's that person, so maybe that'll
perfect.
help. I don't know.
But just as much as you are very active in their lives, you are very also allowing of them to be and make their own decisions.
Yeah.
You're very hands off in that way.
Yeah. I think consequence is a great teacher. And some parents may think it's a little cruel, but I'll let you figure those things out. Multiple times in the last few years, okay, you were right, but that's not the game. And I always tell them that's not the game. It's not about me being right, but it's just lived a little longer. So we're just going to let you figure that out.
You do that with your clients though too, and in the ways that you and I collaborate.
Yeah.
You definitely hold people's hands through things. You're a very good guide and a very good teacher. But you also allow experience to unfold. So who do you like to collaborate with?
So folks that are growing and have been around and are growing tend to have moments with their teams where they get a little stuck. They've done the same thing for so many times, I mean, over and over. It's produced great results, but they're ready to level up. They're ready to take it to another level. And I usually can come in and strategize with teams and train them to think beyond their everyday. And so that I love when there's trust both ways, and they have to trust that new ideas are not scary, and I can help handhold them through the scary things. Everyone seems to think this is the way to do something, and that's why I love working with you, because that's what you say, that's what you embody. This is not, it doesn't have to look this way.
Everybody's way is different.
Right, everyone's way is different, and there's trust both ways. They trust me with a brand that they've built for years, and I trust them to allow me to do what I can do. And also, if it doesn't work out, there's the trust of we've come this far.
Right.
And I love celebrations and allowing people to celebrate where they've come from, because there are so many businesses and organizations that do the thing, give the thing over, and
right?
then forget and move on to the next thing. And I love looking back and allowing people to celebrate where they've been, because it catapults them so much further than they ever thought they could.
I think that celebrations are central to story.
Yes.
Right? If we're not actually looking at where we've been and where we're headed, then we're probably not like seeing the full picture.
Absolutely.
And we're taking forward. I think a lot of times brands are about what we're doing, and to move forward. But I also think that past moment, that's informing all of the what's happening next.
Yeah. I think there's an awareness that comes with it. So it's the good and the bad. And so my story and everyone's story is made up of so many different facets of what makes us up, and the bad is okay as well. So I've learned to embrace that, and some organizations that I've worked with, it's embracing the bad times too that helps them move forward as well.
So you talked a little bit about creativity, and I just wanted you to hit on that really quick too.
Yeah.
So you and I work on creative mornings
Yes.
together here in Richmond.
Yes.
But tell me about what being creative means to you.
Okay, so we took 3-hour drives to Long Island almost every weekend. My parents just went to meetings and things all around New York. And in the car, I think there was always a movie playing in my head. I would stare at the moon and make movies in my head. I think that was something that I just always did. And I can look at something and I find the detail in it. And that's my creative eye, I believe. For me, it's everyone is creative, right? And those that think they're not, I mean, our brains work differently, but I think for me, it's looking at something and remembering moments that bring me joy later.
Right.
And I can see that, and I can now translate that into communications or a marketing campaign that helps people see a pocket of time in a spectacular way. So inviting others into your story, that's part of the creativity that I love. So on walks, wherever I am, I'm always, my camera's out or my phone's out. I'm like, oh, I want to remember that button. Let me take a picture of that or something like that. So creativity to me is enhancing our everyday life on a daily basis.
It sounds like it's all interwoven too with the collaboration aspect too. So creativity, the collaboration, how you actually do the things that you do for your clients, but also for your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about the name Streetlight People.
Yeah.
And your company name and
Yeah.
what's next for you.
Okay.
So I know that you brought a couple of things.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to share what it is that you brought with you today.
Okay. So Streetlight People is a name I pulled out of my subconscious. So obviously Journey has the song, and there's this, it's the beat that everyone kind of collaborates on, but it's something about beliefs and how you believe. So I brought something that my friend Stacy had made for me. It's just the word hope. It's framed, and I look at it every morning. For me, hope is what people need, and I think that I can offer believing in someone. So there's something about saying you believe in someone, and then there's something about the actionable things that happen around that. And for me, it's the action that we take to help people find hope. And hope, there's a saying in that that a lot of hope is dangerous. And I think that we can be really dangerous if we believe that there's more.
Yeah.
I used to have times in my life where I'd wake up and say, well, I'm still alive, so here we go. Let's do the
Right.
next thing. And I brought, for me, hope, and this is my grandmother's, and I told you about the person that, people that knew you when you were younger. I lost her, so she's not around anymore, but I have pieces of her that help remind me that there's hope. And so some nonprofits and places that I've worked, or people that I've worked with, they needed that. They needed that in hard places, and I'm able to bring that from my life. And so that's what my overarching Streetlight People name comes from. We're all just kind of wandering, but we all need a little bit of hope, and that's what I give people. But also what's next, I flow in a lot of things that I do. We talk about that word all the time. The plans, I've realized, are great. I have an organized flow. of planning, but I'm open. I'm open to what's next, and I think
the
that's
plans
what's
are not
next.
the end.
Yes.
They're the jumping off point.
And change and pivoting is natural to me now after a lot of things that I've been through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am so appreciative that you joined me. Where can people find you?
You can find me, I would say, on Instagram.
Okay.
At Linzy George. That's where I live. I'm at Linzy George everywhere. So, yeah. So that's
Linzy with a Z.
Linzy with a Z.
Linzy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm so glad you were joining me today here, Linzy, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the hope that you bring to all of us, and especially to me too.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Yes. Thanks so much for joining me today. Go ahead and like and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you don't want to miss anything, click that subscribe button.